William the Conqueror. On hearing that Edward the Exile was alive, Edward the Confessor had recalled him to England in 1056 and made him his heir. Agatha of Bulgaria came to England with her husband Edward the Exile and children in 1057, but was widowed shortly after her arrival, so Edward the Confessor made his great-nephew Edgar Atheling, c. 1051, c. 1126, his heir. But Edgar had no secure following among the nobles. The resulting succession crisis opened the way for the invasion by William the Conqueror, c. 1028–1087, Duke of Normandy, the great-grandson of Richard I of Normandy. A traditional rivalry between Brittany and Normandy continued to the end of the 11th century. The Breton-Norman War of 1064–1065 was the result of William the Conqueror's support of rebels in Brittany against Conan II. To prevent further hostilities during his invasion of England, William I married his daughter Constance to Alan IV of Brittany in 1087. In 1093, Alan IV married Ermengarde of the neighboring Angevin counts of Anjou in France, as a political alliance with her father Fulk IV, to counter Anglo-Norman influence. Ermengarde of Anjou had previously been married to William IX, Duke of Aquitaine, the grandfather of Eleanor. By 1060, after a long struggle to establish his power, William the Conqueror had secured his hold of Normandy and launched the Norman conquest of England in 1066, decisively defeating the English at the Battle of Hastings. After further military efforts, William was crowned King of England on Christmas Day 1066. Shortly after the Battle of Hastings, William made rich presents to the Abbey of Cluny and pleaded to be admitted a confrater of the abbey like the Spanish kings. He subsequently asked Hugh to send 6 monks to England to minister to the spiritual needs of the court, and renewed his request in 1078, promising to appoint 12 of the Cluniac congregation to bishoprics and abbacies within his kingdom. 55. William, who was exceptionally cruel, had been particularly disliked during his reign, and died a famously ignominious end. Of the 2 main accounts of William's death, the more famous of the 2 is the Historia Ecclesiastica written by the Benedictine monk and chronicler Orderic Vitalis, 1075, c. 1142, a Benedictine monk from St. Everald Monastery in Normandy, and who visited Cluny in 1132. According to Orderic, William eventually confessed to his crimes. I treated the native inhabitants of the kingdom with unreasonable severity, cruelly oppressed high and low, unjustly disinherited many, and caused the death of thousands by starvation and war, especially in Yorkshire. In mad fury I descended on the English of the north like a raging lion, and ordered that their homes and crops with all their equipment and furnishings should be burnt at once and their great flocks and herds of sheep and cattle slaughtered everywhere. So I chastised a great multitude of men and women with the lash of starvation and, alas, was the cruel murderer of many thousands, both young and old, of this fair people. While some accounts claim that William became ill on the battlefield in 1087, Orderic's contemporary William of Malmesbury added that William died after his horse reared up during the battle, throwing the corpulent king against his saddle pommel so forcefully that his intestines ruptured. An infection ensued that killed him several weeks later. As priests tried to stuff William into a stone coffin that proved too small for his enormous size, the swollen bowels burst, and an intolerable stench assailed the nostrils of the bystanders and the whole crowd, according to Orderic. The assembled crowd was immediately covered in William's putrefied remains and overwhelmed by the foul odor of decomposing flesh.